A year ago, the Rice Owls saw their 5-game winning streak over Army come to an end as the Cadets prevailed 31-14. Tonight, the Black Knights of Army march into Houston, taking aim at a 4-2 start for the second straight season. But the Owls hope they have the artillery needed to win this battle after making a change in their offensive lineup. Tonight, it's Army and Rice heading to the battlefield to face each other for the 8th time. Tonight we welcome you inside Rice Stadium in Houston, Texas, the home of the Owls of Rice University. It's Military Appreciation Night, so it's only fitting that the Owls play host to the Black Knights of Army. Hi, everybody. Along with Donovan McNabb, the former Eagles quarterback, I'm Mike Gleason. It's always great to have you with us for more college football here on BN Sports. Well, Army won the last game, Donovan, but Rice has won 5 of the last 6 in this series, so it's not like they haven't solved the mystique of that triple option. But you look at this year's Army team, they have 7 players averaging between 5.5 and 8 yards a carry.
Well, that's what it's all about. It's about spreading the wealth. And when you start with their quarterback, Bradshaw, he brings a lot of electricity to that offense. If it's him throwing the ball maybe a handful of times, but I tell you, when he has the ball in his hands, he's electrifying running the football. And when you turn around and give it to Davidson, he's another one that can pick up big chunks of yards in his offense. I tell you, they challenge you defensively. If you're not in the lanes and you're not fundamentally sound on defense, they'll exploit you. And that's something that they've been very successful over the years. And you talked about it. Rice has been successful of stopping it, but can they do it tonight?
Well, the Rice Owls, they've struggled offensively, especially putting points on the board. So David Bailiff making a change at quarterback, going with a true freshman in Miklos Smalls, and they're hoping that he lights the fuse as far as that spark is concerned.
Everything we've heard about so far about Smalls is the fact that he's another electrifying quarterback. He has a powerful arm. He's mobile. He's accurate on the run. So they're going to do some different things to obviously get him outside the pocket, but also it brings a different energy to the football team. Something that I think they've been lacking over the last couple of weeks. It helps defensively when they know they have a quarterback out there that can carry the football and pick up the yards with his legs or possibly with his arm. So I'm very excited about his first start because I've been hearing a lot of positive things. So now it's time to put it on TV.
Well, the deep men for the Rice Owls, Austin Trammell and Austin Walter. They'll receive the kick from Nick Schrag, a junior from Manassas, Virginia. Army at 3-2. If they win this football game, they'll be 4-2 for the second consecutive year. And this is going to be taken by Austin Walter at the goal line. He takes it out over the 10-yard line and not much further. He gets to about the 13, and that's it.
You're not going to have very much success if you're not getting blocking up front. That's something that we've been talking with some of these coaches. It all starts up front. If they're not able to do a lot of different things in the backfield, it's mainly because they're not starting well up front. You need some blocking and some time to open up a few holes to allow these guys to run through.
So 1st and 10 from the 13-yard line, the first collegiate play for the true freshman out of Plano, Texas. 6'2", 195, the true freshman Miklos Smalls. He does not lack in confidence, according to the coaching staff. First play to keep it on the ground, hits the left side. And the ball carrier, Nashawn Ellerby, comes in averaging about 3.6 yards a carry. Of course, Sammy Stewart, their top running back, has been dinged up, and they expect to get him back after the bye next week.
You know, anything in this offense positive moving forward is a bonus for this Rice offense. They're trying to hurry up offense here. Look for a little somewhat of an attack mode to get on these linebackers and safeties.
Miklos Smalls with his first pass, and it's complete. It's going to be Austin Walter. Not much of a game, but he's 1 for 1 as a collegiate football player.
You know what? Just taking what the defense gives him. I mean, once he gains confidence in his offense, he'll be able to settle his feet and bang that post out, which we've seen over the top. Now, it may not have been open, but as a quarterback, when there's open field, you can throw your wide receiver open. That's something he'll learn over time. But at this particular point, I like the fact that he got the ball out of his hands and get an easy completion.
Well, his first chance to convert a third down as a team, only 33% so far in 2017. This is a 3rd and 7 from the 16-yard line. Smalls from the gun has it, and that's complete to Robbie Wells as Robbie Wells moves the chains with a first down. That's his 7th catch. Let's take a look at the Dr. Pepper impact players of the game offensively.
Well, it always starts with your offensive line, but you need some weapons on the outside and then behind. Obviously, we have to look at Walker and Isupa, what they can bring to the electrifying parts of this offense to take pressure off of their freshman quarterback. I'm looking forward to seeing a lot of these guys being able to tote the football and pick up some yards, but look to take some shots downfield as well.
Trammell in motion. Asupa in the backfield now with Smalls. There's the pitch inside, and the fumble. Ball is loose, and it's picked up by Army.
Incomplete pass.
That's Cole Christensen. A good call, Donovan.
It should be an incomplete pass.
Looks like both teams are leaving the field, and the officials, it looks like they're going to give the football to Army.
The ruling on the field is a completed pass with a fumble. First down, Army.
He didn't have possession on that. They're going to replay. They're going to have to replay that.
Our referee is Jonathan Noley. Bob Alexander is the replay official up here in the press box. And you're absolutely right. It looks like they're going to take another look at it. That was Cole Christensen recovering the fumble. One of the players, the Army coaching staff, talked about a sophomore out of Suffolk, Virginia. They expect a lot of big things from him in the future.
If you take a look here, I mean, I would like to see the quarterback get to the pitch key a little bit closer, just to allow him to get out of the play. Didn't look like the tight end was able to make a football move after receiving the ball, so that may be an incomplete pass.
The ruling on the field has changed to an incomplete pass. It'll be second down. Please change the end clock to 13:01.
Check should be in the mail. We look into it to signed off to me, but you know what, I will say this. I know we've been talking a little bit about Rice because they're on offense. Give a little bit of credit to Army of just being in the right position at the right time, and that was just a great job right there on a play call that was designed to trick Army, but they did a great job of being sound in their gaps.
2nd and 10 at the 27. They probably could have saved some time if they just listened to you, Donovan, right?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Smalls from the gun, heavy pressure, and there's another sack by Army. That's going to be their 12th. Alex Ackerman comes in. That's his 5th to lead the team.
If you take a look here, just a little slide protection by the offensive line, and I just don't understand. Usually they may be one guy free, but there's never been allowed to have 2 guys run free in the slide protection, something that they'll obviously get corrected on the sideline from the offensive line coaches.
Ackerman at least 1 sack in 4 or 5 games, so now 5 of 6 games. 3rd down and 16 at the 21. Smalls keeps it. He's up over the 25. Has to get to about the 27-yard line for the first down. It's going to be close. So he's back to the original line of scrimmage. Or check that. That was just the original line of scrimmage. So well off the first down marker. It's going to bring up a punting situation for the #1 punter in Conference USA right now, Jack Fox. Mike Reynolds from Army back to receive the punt at about the 34-yard line. Fox averaging just under 45 yards a punt with a long of 62. Low line drive end over end. Reynolds plenty of time to take this one back. He's back to the midfield stripe, and he's inside Rice territory at the 49-yard line.
Bad mistake by the punter by now, allowing his cover team to get up underneath the ball. Line drive kicks are never a good thing. You have to be able to get a little air time to allow your guys to be underneath to get in position to make the tackle.
Yeah, partner, I thought for sure leading Conference USA at 45 yards a punt, he'd put a little hang time on it.
Well, I mean, that delay may have held him up a little bit as well on the sideline from his normal practice routine. But I'm interested to see how they stop this Army offense. Ooh, little freeze cadence there to see what they were getting from the defense. So here we go.
Reynolds with the 14-yard return. Here's the pitch to Trainer. Trainer inside the 45-yard line. The senior out of Harrington Park, New Jersey, comes in averaging just under 4 yards. And that's probably a low man on the totem pole with all these averages these running backs for Army post.
Well, that's the thing. Most guys have a lot of receivers. Some guys have an alternate on offensive line. These guys rotate their running backs, and everyone gets an opportunity to carry the football. So you have to keep your eyes open at all times.
See Bradshaw's numbers on the year, a little over 7 yards a carry for him. Picked up 6 on the first play. So 2nd and 4. It's going to bring up a 3rd down, maybe a yard on that play. 3rd and 3 on Army's first possession.
A yard on the play. That's going to bring up a big 3rd down and 4.
You know, Donovan, we're going to make a big deal during this broadcast about the lack of passing for Army. But they were saying they don't need to pass more. They just have to be more effective. They got to hit some big plays.
Yeah. Well, most teams that they play usually have their safeties sitting low. We're seeing now, and perfect example there. That's going to be close with an opportunity to possibly go for it on 4th down. Only pass the football if you need to. And obviously, being quarterbacks, we like to sling the ball a little bit. But, you know, when it's called for with maybe 3 to 5 or possibly 5 to 8 attempts, you want to be efficient and be able to be 5 or 8 if need be.
Look at 8 passes against Buffalo, 8 against Ohio State. In the Ohio State game, they were forced to pass, and they still only came up with 8. This is going to be a 4th and 1. They're at 69% on 4th down this year. 9 of 13. Trainer in motion. They give it to the first man, and he's going to have the first down. That's Connor Slumka. They have 3 fullbacks, Davidson, Kalen Holt, and Connor Slumka out of Wexford, Pennsylvania. Let's take a look at the Dr. Pepper impact players now for Army.
Well, obviously it starts with your quarterback, but everything that we've seen so far is by running back by committee, I should say. Everyone's toting the football and picking up positive yards. It really will be interesting to see when they do decide the football, what route they decide to throw, because normally it's usually a big post or something that create that explosive play.
So far, that Rice defensive front meeting that fullback immediately. And that's Slumka again out of Wexford as we take a look at the Dr. Pepper impact players defensively for Rice.
You know, we talk a little bit about guys that are big-time players on their team. Akrumba and also Ellerby are 2 guys that we've heard a lot of positive things about, Ellerby being one of them that scouts are looking at. So I'm anxious to see how he flows sideline to sideline with this lateral movement, how he fills the gap, especially to be there at the point of attack to make the tackle here on the ball carrier.
Davidson back at fullback. Bradshaw's going to put it up in the air. Bradshaw, it's picked off. Owls have the INT. That's only their 2nd this year. And I believe it's Cole Thomas who just came off the injury list and got back into that defensive secondary.
Trying to figure out exactly who he was throwing to. I know he had 81 coming across, but it looked like he was just anticipating them getting into that spot. And as a quarterback, you have to be sure before you let that ball go. I know he had some pressure in his face, but allow your receiver to get there. But great defensive play by the Rice Owls. Look forward to another great offensive challenge.
Welcome back. We're scoreless in Houston, and thanks to the generosity of multiple coaches throughout Conference USA, thanks to their generosity, players who lost everything during Hurricane Harvey will finally get the relief that they've desperately needed in terms of funding through Conference USA Cares. It's a relief fund set up to help Rice staff members and students with recovery efforts. Multiple coaches have pledged support along with anonymous donations. The relief fund currently, guys, is over $50,000, and that is much needed money going to these players and these staff members.
Well said, Michelle and Donovan. 11 players on this Rice football team lost everything. They said they just had the clothes they had, and they made the trip to Australia to take on Stanford. And David Bailiff, and obviously Stanford was the better football team that night, but he said so many of these players, they didn't have football on their mind. They had their family and their belongings, and they had Hurricane Harvey on their mind during that trip to Australia.
A little jet sweep here.
It's Austin Walter. That's the 29th time this year that he's carried the ball. Comes in averaging over 5 yards, about 5.5 yards a carry.
He got his leg rolled up by the offensive lineman there.
Injured player on the field.
He's a little slow to get up. They have been bringing receivers in motion all the way through. It might end up being a knee or hip, just banging it up on the turf a little bit. I think he'll be fine. As my old coach used to say, rub a little dirt on it and get on back on out there.
He's one of the weapons for Billy Lynch, the offensive coordinator in this Rice team. Against Pittsburgh in that loss, he accounted for 162 yards, 73 through the air, 50 on kickoff returns. He's a former running back in high school. A junior out of Crosby, Texas, so hopefully they will rub a little dirt on it, and he'll be back in the ball game shortly.
Somebody get over there and massage it out a little bit. Get him back out there maybe next series.
Picked up 6 on the play, though. 2nd and 4 at the 33 right now. Twin receivers to the bottom of your screen. Instead, they keep it to Myers. Jordan Myers gets over the 35. Had to get to about the 37 for the first down. Forward progress should put that at about the 36.
Driven backwards by
Looks like that's a first down right there. Great run.
Oh, good spot. Good call. They moved the chains.
Great run right there, being able to explode through the hole. Great job by the offensive line of just opening up just a little bit for him to explode through it. I love what I'm seeing so far from the running backs being able to get north and south. You know, I hate when the game goes east and west and guys start dancing. It's time to get in the hole and try to explode and get as many yards as you can.
Trammell in motion. Left side. And the ball carrier is Myers again. Jordan Myers, the redshirt freshman.
3 or 4 on that carry. He's across the
Looks like we got an Army defender down.
You take a look at the series, 5-2. And as we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, Rice winning 5 of the last 6. Matter of fact, the last 2 games played here, identical 38-31 scores. So hopefully we'll have that type of ball game right now as one of the Army players down.
Number 58.
It's going to be Andrew McLean, their nose guard, senior out of Louisville, Colorado. It's about the 3rd injury already we've had here in the first quarter, so it's a physical matchup with 3:29 to go before we head for the second quarter.
I don't think both teams are in a position, as far as depth-wise is concerned, to lose any more bodies going forward. Talking to the Rice coaches and Coach Bailiff, that's basically the things he mentioned. Was he was happy to be getting a few guys back, but I believe at this particular point they've lost 4 starters on offense and 5 on defense.
Michelle?
Right now they're looking at his right knee, right leg. He keeps kind of pointing to his right knee and massaging around there. They just got him to sit up, so that's a decent sign, but we'll keep you posted from the sidelines, guys.
All right, thanks, Michelle. And usually if you rub your knee, that's also a good sign.
Well, I've rubbed my knee back in 07, I believe it was. Didn't turn out the way I wanted it to, but it looks like he was, I don't know if he was blocked in the back and kind of hyperextended his knee there, but good to see at least he's
got some bend
moving
in that
a little
knee.
bit. Yeah, he's moving a little bit, so positive sign for the Army Black Knights.
You see the movement on that right knee. I mean, hate to project anything. I would doubt if we'll see him again, at least in the first half, the way he's walking. But, but again, the movement is a good sign. 2nd and 6 at the 41-yard line now for the Owls. You talk about Miklo Smalls burning that red shirt. They have 11 former quarterbacks on this roster. I mean, you talk about the jet sweeps and best athletes playing quarterback in high school. They've got a bundle on this roster. Smalls gets rid of it. This one's picked. A lot of green. A pick 6. Max Regan, the junior from Austin, Texas. Each team with a pick now, and that's only the 2nd for Army in 2017, but this one goes to the house.
Well, the young guy's going to definitely learn. This is a learning experience for him. Don't try to force anything. I would like to, again, I'm really trying to figure out what blocking scheme that they're doing down there. They're sliding the protection and leaving one or two guys to come free. But as a quarterback, you have to protect the football first and foremost. And that right there was just a bad mistake from Smalls.
Yeah, Cole Christensen was putting on the pressure, number 54, and live and learn, I guess. Learn to live for another play as Blake Wilson drills the extra point. Schrag will drill this one into the end zone, and Trammell will retrieve it, but he goes onto the back of the end zone, and the Owls will start from the 25-yard line. So early on, the Owls looked like they had the offensive momentum, but a pick six can take that all away in a moment. And right now, they'll start from the 25, and Smalls will try again.
Expect this to be possibly a run play going downhill, or maybe another jet sweep. I don't think that they'll come back to throw the football again just yet.
So more on this quarterback situation for Rice right after this play. There's a fumble. Ball is loose, and it's picked up by Army. Down inside the 10-yard line, that's Kenneth Brinson, the rush linebacker, the junior from Kennesaw, Georgia. So they have a pick six, and now a fumble recovery, returning it inside the 10-yard line.
Well, it looks like there was a miscommunication there. Looked like the receiver didn't think he was going to get the football, and the quarterback was trying to give it to him.
Very unfortunate situation offensively for the Rice Owls. And now the defense will have to try to save the day here. Ball inside the 10-yard line. So it's a first and goal for the Black Knights. Davidson, the fullback, behind Bradshaw. Trainer in motion. Davidson gets it inside the 5, down to about the 3-yard line. The junior from Allentown, Pennsylvania.
One thing I can say about this young man, Andy Davidson, being only 235 pounds, he looks like a load. I played with a running back who was about that size, maybe 225 in college, and Rob Conrad, and ran them pretty much the same way. It was about getting low and utilizing your lower leg strength to get a little push, and that's exactly what I'm seeing from Davidson.
Bradshaw takes it in for the touchdown. Well, that Bradshaw, the senior from the Windy City, gets his 5th rushing touchdown here in 2017.
Great job right there. That's just a quarterback keeper from the very beginning. Fake to the fullback, allow your guard to come in and block the nose tackle or the defensive tackle, and you follow behind them in the hole.
Blake Wilson on for the extra point. So a pick six by Max Regan, and a fumble recovery. And put it inside the 10-yard line by Kenneth Brinson. Bradshaw takes it in for the touchdown, and Wilson converts with the extra point, and suddenly the Rice Owls are down by a couple of touchdowns.
You look at it, and it's not as bad as you think. And I think for the defense, they could be proud of what they've been doing so far. They've been doing a fairly decent job. Offensively, you just have to eliminate your turnovers. If it's self-inflicted wounds by the quarterback, right there by the ball exchange to the receiver / running back, those are things that are correctable. And you're only down 2 touchdowns, which is just nothing. Take one at a time. Continue to move the ball methodically downfield, moving the chains. Big plays will happen, but don't try to force it. That's the most important thing that we have to see from Smalls and the rest of this offense.
And Billy Lynch telling us in the meeting yesterday, their offensive coordinator, they've had 8-10 play drives, but just no results, no points.
And no explosive plays. You need to create some explosive plays, especially on 1st and 2nd down. Try to come out of the blocks a little bit, be a little bit more explosive, and that's something that they've been lacking. And we'll see in this next series what decides to happen.
Well, Trammell should return this one as he backs up, and here he comes. No. Wow, that was close.
That was close.
He almost came out. He had to be inches away from coming out, but they'll start at the 25. Probably too close for comfort, huh? After a pick six and a fumble?
Yeah, I'm sure there's some words exchanged there. Yeah, we already have enough going for us on the negative side. Let's not make it worse. Well, here we go again, partner. Let's see if they're able to clean some things up and be able to put themselves in a better position going forward here on offense.
Speaking of Billy Lynch, the offensive coordinator, says we like to do 3 things to that defense. Smalls looks like a broken play, but he's going to keep it. Just gets to about the 26, maybe the 27-yard line.
Fumble.
Wow, if he did, you'd think the whistle would have blown in forward progress. Army says they have the football. I don't think the officials will give it to him, though. It certainly was a late whistle.
The ruling on the field is a fumble recovered by Army, first down.
Why? I stand corrected.
Yeah, we have to see the replay. I mean, it was a little scrum there, so
The turnover.
we'll see.
First down and 10, Army West Point from the 23-yard line.
That was John Voigt, one of the co-captains, defensive end, making the initial contact, number 59, to wrap him up.
Yeah, I mean, you have to blow that whistle there.
Right there.
Yeah, that whistle's got to be blown right there.
But the officials don't see it that way. 3 consecutive plays now. Army has forced the turnovers. They came in at -2 in the turnover margin department, so that suddenly has changed. Into the plus category. Trainer, number 6 in motion, comes back. Here's the pitch. Outside, plenty of room inside the 10, and touchdown. Cal Walker, the sophomore from Decatur, Georgia, gets his first rushing touchdown. Boy, 5 when it rains, it pours.
Yeah, and it looks like we may have a quarterback change going forward. We might see number 14 come into the game here at the quarterback position. It might be a little bit too much right now for Smalls to handle.
Well, Billy Lynch said his leash was going to be long. Number 14 would be Jackson Tyner.
And Jackson Tyner is definitely warming up on the sideline.
And speaking of warming up, Blake Wilson's warming up that leg with another extra point. He's got 3 already tonight with 1:53 to go, and Army opens up a 21-0 lead. And just moments ago, you said, hey, 2 touchdowns isn't that bad. But all of a sudden, just like that, it's 3.
You know, you just have to stop the bleeding. You know, is this the right move for a football team that's trying to form an identity? I mean, we know that they want to establish the run and they try to create some explosive plays. But is this what you want to do to the football team right now, being able to make another quarterback change? I don't think it's the right move. If you look at the Black Knights here, the last 3 defensive plays, I mean, an interception return for a touchdown, 2 fumble recoveries, and which led to points from the offense scoring. So for this Rice football team, I mean, is this the right move to make a change right now? I would probably have to say no, it's not the right move, but, you know, they're desperate at this point.
Well, so much for that long leash that Billy Lynch told us yesterday. We'll see if it's going to be Jackson Tyner or if Smalls comes out to lead this Rice team. Schrag's kick out of the end zone again, so deja vu. The Owls will start at the 25-yard line again. And this is something that David Bailiff certainly didn't see coming. A pick 6 and then 2 fumbles. Fumbles 5 and 6 on the year for the Owls. And Army goes from -2 to +1 in that turnover category. So here we go. Jordan Myers, there's an explosive play up over the 40 to the 43-yard line.
Myers with a big gain for Rice. He's across the 30.
So Myers came in with 6 carries, averaging over 7 yards a carry. Gets a big one there for the Owls.
I like this. You decide to go no huddle. Get a little rhythm going on offense.
Completes. Jackson Tyner completes it over the middle.
Tyner's pass is complete.
It's Robbie Wells.
Number 88, Robbie Wells.
So you're absolutely right. They made the quarterback change. Jackson Tyner last week at Pittsburgh, he threw for 222, including a 70-yard touchdown pass, but he was 15 of 52 with 3 picks. Donovan, I think my math says that's 29%.
And I'll go along with your great math there and say that's just not a great percentage.
There's a jet sweep. This is Granson. Granson gets the first down.
And he
fumbled the ball. And Army said they have this one. Just got to the 35 and the first down marker.
Granson with the carry. It's across the 35.
That could be a helmet-to-helmet as well.
And here comes the Rice defense. They're going to give the ball to Army.
Wow.
So Army +2 now in the turnover margin department. This is unbelievable.
Can't seem to get anything right for Rice. I'm sure this is just the first quarter.
First and 10, Army West Point from their own 33.
When you get in situations like this, I think it's important. Okay, it's all for review. But when you get in situations like this, I think it's important for the leaders of the team. We talked to definitely the coaching staff and asked them pretty much who were his big leaders. And at this particular point, Cole Thomas, their free safety, and Trey Martin, their center. This is the time where he needs to get the offense together, and really the whole football team, and just have them refocus. Let's start all over. Let's get dialed in. Let's make sure that everybody knows their job and do their job at the best of your ability, and just forget about what happened. Here, if you take a look, just protect the football. Great job by the defensive back number 7 there of being able to strip it out. And from that point on, it's just whoever falls on it first. But for the Rice football team, they're correctable mistakes. It's nothing that you're just getting outplayed. It's just you're making personal mistakes yourself, and it's hurting your football team. So let's get it cleaned up and let's move forward. Before the ball's out.
The ruling on the field is confirmed. First down, Army.
Another fumble. It's confirmed. It's going to be Army football at the 33. So the Black Knights of Army coming in averaging 29. They have 21 already, and we're still in the first quarter.
This is interesting for the Army football team to go into a shotgun offense.
Nice hole on the right side. And once again, it's number 5, Kel Walker, who just scored the touchdown. He gets all the way down to the 35-yard line.
Just great downhill blocking. Everyone's getting a body on a body, and being able to pick up the yards, running through the tackle. Wish number 81 would have got a better block there, which would have ended up maybe being a touchdown. But again, Army's just being sound at what they do. They're blocking spots. Most people block guys. They're blocking spots, and I think that's why they're very successful right now.
JT Ebe, one of the safeties, had a bad angle. He's their second leading tackler for Rice, but just took a bad angle that time on Walker. Bradshaw this time. He keeps it. He's inside the 15, the 10, down to about the 8-yard line.
I'll tell you one thing, partner. It's something about those Chicago quarterbacks coming out running the option that kind of just it excites me a little bit. To hit the corner, the pitch key takes the running back. He ends up turning it upfield, and I'll tell you, we talked about him being electrifying and being able to create big plays and exciting plays. That was just explosive right there.
Now, where did you play your high school?
Well, I'm from Chicago too. It's just something about those Chicago guys who are quarterbacks that have ran a little bit of the option in high school. So Army showing us everything we need to see from a running game. Look forward to second half being either the Black Knights or the Owls. I'm excited, are you?
21-0. Black Knights of Army on top by 3 touchdowns. Back inside Rice Stadium in Houston, Texas. Army on Military Appreciation Night here in Houston at 21-0. 4 forced turnovers. As you take a look at a very impressive graphic right there.
Tell you,
80-3 in the first quarter.
Yeah, it's a telling tale right there. I mean, look at what Rice has done with the 4 turnovers, and Army has taken full advantage of those turnovers. Great field position, which led to points, and then in this drive, in particular right now, great run. Then you had Bradshaw with the follow with the big run. Then they go right back into that shotgun offense, which is something we haven't seen them do today.
Bradshaw averaging 12.3 yards a carry. Here's Walker with his second touchdown. So Kel Walker came in with 23 carries, averaging 8.4 yards a carry. As a team, Army's over 9 yards a carry. So at the top of the broadcast, I said after winning 5 of 6 in this series, that Rice defense has solved the mystique of that triple option. Well, that's not the case so far here tonight.
You know, talking to the defensive coordinator, we talked about more of their secondary than their front seven. He felt pretty decent about their about their front seven, being able to be stout and be in their lanes and be sound. And that's just not what we're seeing right now from this football team.
Welcome back to Houston, where Rice just conducted an honor jersey ceremony. It started in 2012, and I'm here with the newest recipient, Matt Sign. Matt, what does this honor mean to you?
You know, it is a great honor. It's always nice to be remembered for what you did when you play, but really this is a testament to all of my teammates and certainly Trevor Cobb for the work we did in the early 90s to get really Rice football off the mat and during the Southwest Conference days.
What challenges did you face? Because when you came in as a freshman, Rice was struggling. When you left as a senior, you had your first winning season.
Well, they were struggling mightily. It was an 18-game losing streak, but Fred Goldsmith came in, he had a plan, and certainly was fortunate to be in the same class as Trevor Cobb, and we got a few key wins early on, and then in November of our senior year, we were able to clinch the first winning season in 29 years.
All right, thanks, Matt, for joining us. Congratulations on an excellent honor. Guys, back up to you.
All right, thanks, Michelle. Rice Owls ran 4 more plays, Donovan, in that first quarter. 19 plays to 15, yet they're down 28-0. That's hard to believe.
Again, it goes back to the conversation that we had from the offensive coordinator, and basically what he told us was that they'll have some longer drives, but they're just not able to capitalize on it. It's something in which we need to see from this point on in order for them to be competitive.
Trammell from the 2 this time, up over the 15 and hit hard at about the 17-yard line. And that's where the Owls will take over again as Jackson Tyner, the sophomore from Edgewood, Texas, back on the field for the Owls, replacing Miklo Smalls, the true freshman who was making his first collegiate start.
The tough part about that whole thing, partner, is that was true freshman year. Do you lose your freshman eligibility or just on one particular game or 4 series?
Great points. Excellent point. Handoff over the 20 to about the 22-yard line for the Owls. Have to get to the 28 for a first down. It'll be a second down for Rice. There's Tyner. Sam Gleishman, a redshirt freshman from Waco, Texas, started the first 3 games. Gleishman hitting about 49%. Tyner hitting about 49%. So that's why they were making the change with Smalls. And it wasn't, it might have been the exchange, and Smalls threw 1 pick 6, but it's not like he had all the fumbles.
Well, I mean, he had the pick 6 for a touchdown and the fumble. Then end up fumbling. You know, it was, if it was spaced out maybe, then it wouldn't be as bad, but it was back to back to back. And, you know, coaches see that, and it's kind of like, hey, you know what, maybe the game is too fast for him, it's too big for him, we got to calm him down. Let's bring someone with a little bit more experience in the ball game. Not to say that it's that much of a change right now,
right? But
at least they're protecting the ball a little bit.
You think we see Smalls in the second half? You said calm him down.
I don't think we'll see him in the second half, but I think going forward throughout the rest of the season, I think we will see him.
Third down play, and it's going to be close. It looks like they're going to move the chains as they gave the ball to Jordan Myers. Myers, one of the bright spots in that first half. He had 6 carries for almost 8 yards a carry.
I think what you want to do as an offensive coordinator is, at this point now, build some packages to use Smalls. To kind of give him that experience of being out on the football field, utilizing his ability until your starter gets back.
Saw the percentages we talked about with Gleishman and Tyner. 48.9 and 48.8. Not a whole lot separating the two. There's another sweep and a lot of running room that time. Up to the midfield stripe, it's going to be Trammell. Austin Trammell, a true freshman from Spring, Texas. Doesn't have a catch yet this year, but that's his 3rd rush of 2017. It's a big one.
Well, definitely what we're seeing is the jet sweep is a major factor in their offense. A lot of motion going on. I mean, you're doing a reverse motion to start, stop, and come back and get the ball. That can be a little tiring on wide receivers.
Trammell picks up 25 on the play as they get into Army territory. Trammell in motion. Keep it on the ground again. And it's Jordan Myers.
Number 7, Myers, the ball carrier.
Boy, Trammell's a true freshman. Jordan Myers, a redshirt freshman.
Yards on the play, 2nd down and 6.
It's a blend on both of these football teams with experience in youth.
Yeah, let's just say that they're young. They have something to build off of on this football team with a lot of young talent. Talking to Coach Bailiff now, that most teams have to balance academics and sports. It seems like this football team, they're trying to balance sports, with their books. This is a smart group here.
Another run, Myers again, trying to bounce it outside to no avail. Big wave of tacklers. Cole Christensen, 54. One of the first Army defensive players to make some contact.
This is when you just have to be a football player. If you're seeing the flow going outside, this is when you put your foot down in the ground and you cut back. I would have loved to see him do that. He probably would have picked up another 4 to 5 yards, but in that he ended up losing 2 or 3 yards. So these guys just got to play football. Getting blitz here from the outside.
Nice job of stepping up, and he kind of hurried it. Felt the pressure, stepped up, and the intended receiver that time was Aaron Cephas, another redshirt freshman from right here in Houston.
4th down and 7.
So here comes Fox again to punt it away on a 4th and 7, and Army will have the football back. So Mike Reynolds back near his 10-yard line. Fox punting just over his 40. Line drive kick. Reynolds. Those line drive kicks, he had a 14-yard return. That time he gets up to the 20-yard line before he's brought down. 11-yard return. Back in Houston, Texas, 28-0 Army all over the Owls. A lot of football to be played here. Army, 4 touchdowns since 3 minutes left in the first quarter. See the pick six offensive plays, and talk about boosting the average, Donovan. Kel Walker now with a 26.5-yard average on just 2 carries in the first quarter anyway. He's got a couple of touchdowns. And here come the Black Knights again, starting from the 21-yard line.
Big trivia question for you, partner. What do you think they're going to do in this first play?
I bet you they run the football.
They're back in the shotgun here.
Bradshaw looking for the pitch, keeps it himself, cuts it up nicely over the 30-yard line. Bradshaw to the 35. Another big gainer for Bradshaw, who averaged over 12 yards a carry in that first quarter.
Again, just great play here. 31 is his pitch key. Ends up trying to take it to his outside shoulder, ducks it inside, takes up an additional 15 yards. And that's just what their coaches talked about Bradshaw. He wants to be a perfectionist. So that's just doing what you're supposed to do and getting to those running lanes, and just haven't found an answer for Rice to be able to stop this from going on.
Last play, Bradshaw, nice read, but nice block too for Kalen Holt, the fullback who really sprung him for that big gainer.
It was like Kalen Holt there.
Yeah, there's Holt from Hawaii. As a matter of fact, his nickname is Hawaiian Punch.
Hawaiian Punch.
Connor Slumka, they call him the Wexford Sledgehammer.
I would prefer the Sledgehammer more than Hawaiian Punch. Although that was one of my refreshing drinks when I was younger.
Well, Wexford, it helps when he's from Wexford, PA, and he goes 6 feet 240. Stopped at the 43-yard line. It's Kel Walker, the sophomore out of Georgia. This Army football team put 64 on the board against Fordham. He said, okay, that's the opening game. But that's the 4th 60-plus game under Jeff Monken. And this is only Monken's 4th year as the head coach. I mean, Red Blake had more. but he was what, the Army head coach for 12 years.
Yeah.
And that's way back in the 40s when they won national championships. And correct me if I'm wrong, 44, 45, and 46, I think.
Yeah.
Sounded convincing.
Hey, you may not be that great with numbers, but you do a great job remembering the times.
That helps because I wrote a cheat sheet down. So
nothing wrong with that. No one's judging. No one's judging. Here on 4th down, I think Army will decide to go for it. I don't know what Davidson's his nickname is. If you have one being the sledgehammer and a Hawaiian punch, then I don't know what he could be, because he could definitely be Ram Man at this particular point for those who know anything about Marvel.
Yeah, he just goes by AD. So quarterback sneak, moves the chains. Again, coming in, they were 69%. That's the second 4th down conversion. It's actually a dirty word with Army's defense, though, that Tulane, they feel like they should have another victory, but Tulane converted on 3 4th down plays on the final drive of the game to beat Army earlier this year.
When you look at Army, I mean, again, it's if you play a team that at least protects the football and defensively can get off on 3rd down, more than 50% of the time, you have a shot, because they don't really hurt themselves. And that's the thing about Army, is they allow you to make mistakes and they capitalize.
Walker picks up 6 inside Rice territory.
Number 93, Parker Hanusa, in on the stop for the Owls.
Rustled down by Parker Hanusa, the junior from Austin, Texas. And it's 2nd and 4 at the 47.
I would just love to see Army just throw a great option fake, step up off the line, throw a nice post or a wheel route to one of the receivers, just to show something different. A little audible here.
There's the pitch. It's Walker. Walker's got some room inside the 30, 20, 15, 10. Walker, that's his 3rd rushing touchdown tonight.
Take a look here. The audible to this gets to the pitch key, and really it's just Walker and anyone on the outside. Run behind your blocker there, number 81. Ends up being another touchdown for Army.
Now, Brent Davis, the offensive coordinator, telling us on our phone conversation, you hear about the run-pass option so many teams use. They say that that pass in that RPO
is the pitch.
Is the pitch for them.
The pitch, yeah.
Thank you for finishing that. Yeah, the pitch. Says usually if they get to the outside, they're going to pick up the same type of yardage.
That means they just don't really want to throw the football, which they've capitalized. That was just a long drive right there on that last touchdown. And great job by the Army Black Knights. But Rice really needs to clean themselves up in order for them to make this somewhat of a reasonable game.
Trammell takes a knee in the end zone. They'll start at the 25 again with 7:02 to go. 35-0, they're down. Last time Rice went to 3 straight bowl games. They won the 2013 Conference USA Championship, beating Marshall. The last time they were shut out 17 years ago, 37-0 against TCU back in 2000. We'll see if Jackson Tyner can get something going. Started the last 2 games, stepped aside for Miklos Smalls, and then reinserted into the lineup thanks to all these turnovers. Tyner, plenty of time. Sets up and overshoots his man.
Tyner's pass is incomplete.
Kylan Granson, the intended receiver. He was wide open, too. Just overshot him by maybe a half a yard.
He had the post or the corner. Most quarterbacks that take the home run, it was just it was a great read on his part. Either one was wide open. But you have to put enough air on it to allow your receiver to run up under it. And again, this is the time where you have to throw the football. If you're confident in it or not, you just can't sit there and run the football when you're down 35-0.
2nd and 10 at the 25. Walter in the slotted motion now. Walter trying to bounce it, find the edge. He does. Gets over the 30-yard line to about the 31.
Number 2, Austin Walter, the ball carrier.
Let's take a look at our Dr. Pepper impact players for Army defensively.
You know, Boyd has been everywhere. We talked a little bit of Christensen and the things he's been able to do to the linebacker position. And he's the leader on that defense to be able to get everyone in a position to be very successful. But if you're able to lock up the edges, as what we're seeing from this jet sweep, and the running back trying to get outside the tackle, that's when Boyd has been very effective for their defense.
Boyd, a 4-year starter, and the coaching staff saying if you're a captain at West Point, that means you're a great leader as well. Oh, Myers stretched out looking for the 35-yard line in the first down marker. I thought he was going to get the ball stripped at first. They're going to spot it at the 35. It should be a first down.
Fourth down here.
Oh, just shy of that 30. Wow.
Oh, they gave it to him.
Okay.
They gave it to him.
Just by a nose.
Home field advantage. Nothing wrong with that. Now it's time to take a shot. Let's see our quarterback get back and just see what the receivers can do for him.
Little pump fake, looking for someone that's open. Finally throws it away and lives to see another day. Tyner, as we mentioned, 222 and a 70-yard touchdown last week, but
not great numbers.
Looked like somebody was open early, but he hesitated. Little pump fake, and then he was flushed from the pocket. So
pocket's not as clean as you would like, but I would like to see him step up in the pocket and just take off. You know, I think, you know, for these quarterbacks, they want to show that they can throw the football from the pocket. The pocket's not clean. Just tuck it away and just go.
That offensive front has plenty of experience for Rice. Here's Trammell trying to bounce to the outside. He gets the corner. And a penalty flag dropped at just inside the 40-yard line.
A little holding there on number 21. Great job. The defender being in great position. And again, that's as we talked about.
Offense, number 88, 10-yard penalty. Replay, second down.
It's Robbie Wells, the senior from Katy, Texas, guilty of that infraction.
And holding on to Alex Ackerman. He's a 6'1", 260-pound linebacker, Sam linebacker from Indiana. With a little acting job. Yeah, a little acting job there. Nothing wrong with a little flop.
Ackerman came in with 4 sacks, has one tonight, so that's 5. That equals Rice's Brian Womack. And Womack leads Conference USA with 5 sacks. Back to the line of scrimmage and then some as Emmanuel Asupa, the sophomore from Grand Prairie, gets the call and picks up some of that lost yardage on the penalty.
Tackled by Ackerman there.
But it's another third down, 3rd and 8 at the 37-yard line. Wideouts now. Over the middle and had the man open. It's Aaron Cephas. Boy, if he caught that too, he had some running room in front of him.
Yeah, it was just a nice post pattern there that we call a bang 8. 5 steps and come inside and in a post pattern, and for a quarterback, you hit your 5th step goes back, hits the ground, you got to let it go. Just overshot him. You know, again, and back to the timing aspect of this offense, things just aren't on key.
John Traynor this time calls for the fair catch and fumbled the football. I think he fell right on top of it. Recovered just inside the 25-yard line.
West Point from the 25-yard line.
So Army, they forced 4 turnovers. They have a pick 6. They have 35 on the board. They have 4:26 to work with now before we head for halftime. We'll head down to Miami and Jeremy St. Louis and our NFL gang in the studios. So we take a look at the pick 6 by Max Regan. And then it was fumbleitis.
The Bradshaw tucking it on there and going, and the pitch here to Walker. The handoff to Walker. The hand, it seems like they're still scoring. They're Gleason. I mean, I don't know what to do. They're back in the shotgun offense here.
There's a whistle before this one gets going. It's going to go against Army.
False start. Offense, number 83, 5-yard penalty. Still
This
first
Army
down.
team only averages about 4 penalties a game, around 32 yards. Saw Walker getting into the end zone a couple of times. He has 3 rushing touchdowns. Bradshaw has 1.
Be interesting to see what they do here in this this drive to eat up some more clock.
I think these guys want to score again.
I believe so.
Heck with eating the clock, right? Good penetration to that Rice defensive front that time. There's a penalty flag as
Someone got a little upset and threw the helmet of an Army offensive lineman.
it looks like he had his helmet ripped off.
He's going to have to go out for a play. College rules.
The penalty goes against
Big number 95. Didn't seem like he was, is it 95, 96?
Abercrombie.
Like he was a little upset.
That's a Zach Abercrombie, the 6'2 sophomore out of Dallas.
Coaches say that he's a jokester on the team. Didn't look like he was joking right there.
Unsportsmanlike conduct. Defense, number 96. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down. That's number 96 first. Unsportsmanlike penalty. Number 65 can stay in the game. His helmet came off due to the penalty.
That's Bryce Holland, the senior center. He's on the Remington watch list. Of course, Brett Romberg back in the studios won that during his days at Miami. As the top center in the country.
There you go, Brett, show you some love.
Brett will be back in the booth down in Birmingham, Alabama next week as we take on UAB against Middle Tennessee. Here's the pitch to the outside, and Jordan Asbury gets his first carry.
Oh, this may not look good for Walker. Getting rolled up on there. Slow getting up.
So Walker has had a tremendous first half. He's still down on one knee. Asbury was the ball carrier out of Cincinnati. He came in averaging 7 yards a carry himself.
Walker blocking on the edge for his fellow running back there. Just a little swipe. They rub a little dirt on it. Get back on out there the next couple plays.
Well, you were right last time. That's what Walter did. They rubbed some dirt and he got back in the ball game.
Rub some dirt, get back on out there. These kids are tough.
I don't know where they're going to find some dirt, though. Maybe some crushed up rubber from this turf?
From this turf.
Unless maybe the coaches have some dirt on the sidelines. DJ Green, the linebacker, making a nice play coming over from his Mike linebacker spot to make the stop. So it's 2nd down and 9 after a gain of 1. Inside 4 minutes now before halftime. Davidson hit at the 40, push back. Host attack, Preston Gordon, big number 99, making the initial contact there.
40 Davidson, the ball carrier. Picks up 2 yards to the 40.
I thought it was interesting. We touched on this in the first half, or earlier in the first quarter, I should say, about Jeff Monken saying you have to have master time management and sleep. He said 8 hours is non-existent. David Bailiff said on Friday nights he doesn't even have curfew because he knows his players are exhausted from studying all week.
Yeah.
And
I mean, his guys pull out laptops to start doing work right after you get off the plane after a game, no matter when or lose.
Yeah, good point. Bradshaw looking to pitch. He keeps it himself again. Up near the 45-yard line.
Gets close to the 45.
Finally wrestled down by Martin Wakama, a junior from Leander, Texas. And here's a 4th and 4 from the 44. And coming out to punt it away is Nick Schrag.
This is his should be his second second punt of the day.
Impressive graphic right there. A win over Navy. Monken used to coach at Navy. And, of course, a bowl victory over North Texas.
Yeah, that's a great punt right there.
Trammell comes up. Lets it roll in the end zone.
Need a little speed on the cover team to help them out.
Yeah, speaking of North Texas and Army, they split last year. Army, of course, beating them in the bowl game, and we're going to have that matchup down in Denton, Texas in November. So speaking of the upcoming games here on BN Sports, next week we're down in Birmingham as Middle Tennessee takes on UAB. Of course, you and I had that fun game with North Texas and UAB, that 46-43 ball game. And
went
then
down to the wire.
Head for Charlotte. We'll see the Blazers of UAB back-to-back weeks. And then Middle Tennessee again in Murfreesboro against UTEP. UTEP Mike Price, former Washington State and UTEP coach, back on the sidelines on an interim basis. This one's complete to Parker Smith, the graduate student out of Richmond, Texas. Good pickup on first down. It's going to be 2nd and 2 at the 28. Quarterback keeps it that time. Jackson Tyner.
First down, Rice.
Boy, a minute 57 to go. They're still 66 yards away, but I'm sure, obviously, David Bailiff and company would love to put something on the board before halftime, and then
or complete a pass past 15 yards. I would love to see that myself. Timeout here.
So Rice uses their first of 3 in the first half with a minute 44 to go. David Bailiff in his 11th year. Again, we talk about the academics here at Rice. He said after their 3rd straight bowl game, he lost 2 all-conference defensive linemen. One went to the NFL early. The other one decided to take a job for $120,000 instead of coming back for a senior year.
I don't know who made off better, the one that went to the NFL, the one that ended up getting $120,000 salary. So
well, that's a good question, depending on how long you stay in the NFL and how long you keep with that 120, or if the ceiling is high, before he knows it, he could be making 200, 250.
Exactly.
You see the tenured head coach Rick Stockstill now, just ahead of David Bailiff and Bobby Wilder. Great job he's done at Old Dominion, going from 1AA or FCS to the FBS level.
That might be a penalty.
Pass is incomplete. 3rd down.
You know, it's easy to sit up here. You don't know what he's seeing and what kind of rush he's seeing, but
I seen that rush.
This doesn't look like Jackson Tyner has a lot of confidence back to throwing the football.
Well, confidence that he doesn't have a lot of time. The pocket is not clean. Right there, they had a linebacker who green dog basically waited to watch the running back either block his keys or possibly get out on the route and decide to blitz. He came free, and that's what led the quarterback to throwing the ball out of bounds.
There's a pitch near side, and some good running room. Nice run that time by Asupa. Gets up to the 44, just over the 44. Actually, they're spotted over the 45 at the 46-yard line.
First down, 1st and 10 from the 46.
Well, like Billy Lynch told us in the meeting yesterday, it's not like they haven't had some drives. They just don't get the points. And right now, it looks like they're going to put together a nice drive, but can they get some points from the drive? Tyner from the gun, little pump fake, and there's the sack. And McLean, the senior out of Louisville, Colorado, picking up another sack. That's the 2nd, and that's the 13th on the year for Army.
But see what you're seeing is you're seeing line stunts, TE stunts, meaning tackle in, whip stunts, in coming inside, tackle going outside, which leads the outside linebackers to come free inside the middle, which led to a sack there from the Army Black Knights.
Asupa, the ball carrier. Ackerman turned that play in before McClinton made the tackle. Exactly 60 seconds to go before halftime. Here on BN Sports, 35-0 Army on top. as they go for their second straight win and try to get to 4-2. And the last time they were 5-2 was way back in 1988-89, the back-to-back seasons, I should say. It looks like Jeff Monken has this Army team rolling, as you saw the graphic a few plays ago, beating Navy for the first time in 50 years. Thought it was interesting that Army went out and got a former Navy coach to bring him in.
Can't beat him, join him, I guess.
Of course, Monken was at Georgia Southern with Paul Johnson at Georgia Tech. Not much time, but a lot of running room. Niners driven out of bounds at the 42. Coming up to make the stop is James Gibson.
And that will bring up 4th down for Rice.
I believe they're going to punt it away.
Clock stops with 41 seconds.
Timeout. Army, they're first. It will be 30 seconds.
So it's interesting. Army uses a timeout here with a 35-0 lead with 41 seconds to go before halftime. See, 2012-15, 11-37, and 16-17, 11-7, as they aim for another bowl trip.
You know, you see the facial expressions of Army and the facial expressions of Rice. I mean, Army, you can tell who's in the lead and how confident they feel about what they're doing up front with their line studs, getting to the quarterback, back what they're doing in the secondary, offensively, the way they're running the football. I mean, they've thrown 3 passes so far, and all were incomplete.
One was picked.
So it's one in which going in at halftime, you know, the conversation that you have from sides, you know, hey, for Army, you know, let's think about the negative things that we got to clean up. We have to do better job tackling. Got to make sure we make that pocket, you know, dirty for them to allow them to throw the ball to us in the back end. On offense, let's make sure we continue to block our keys and pick up as many yards running the football. For Rice, you got to start all over again. Hey guys, it's 0-0. Let's go out. Let's play for some pride. You know, competitive. Let's take one play at a time. We can find ourselves back in this thing. And if they believe it and they feel confident coming out, you know, it can be a competitive football game.
Well, like you said, they're going to need some explosive plays to erase the 35-0 deficit, though. Davidson, after the timeout, hits the line, gets up to about the 23. 25 seconds. Clock is moving. So that's going to be the
They're going to take it
play.
on in, yeah. Take it on in.
So I don't think Jeff Monken or David Bailiff saw this coming in the first half. All the turnovers, a pick 6 and 3 forced fumbles and 3 fumble recoveries. But that being said, Army off the ball with that triple option, with putting up some more impressive rushing numbers.
Total yards for the game for Army. You think they'll reach 320 running the football? 350?
I think so. I think so. I mean, they had 513 against Fordham to open the season. They might be close to that, depending what happens with the
Rice?
drives and the clock management with Rice, if they can get back in this ball game, and if Jeff Monken called off the Dogs in the second half. Let's check in with Michelle.
How you doing, guys?
Coach, I hadn't forced a turnover in 13 straight quarters until tonight. It rains, it pours, you forced 4. What's the difference?
I don't know. The guys did a good job. I thought Max made a nice play on the interception and ripping that ball out down there a couple times. Go down here on this end, and then the second one down, the guys it was an opportune time to just kind of grab a hold of it, and we were able to rip it away from them. So we're trying, I promise, but it's nice to see us get some. It turned into some points, and that's what matters.
All right, congratulations on a great first, Coach. Back to you guys.
All right, thanks a lot, Michelle. So 3 forced fumbles, 3 fumble recoveries, a pick 6. Kel Walker with 3 rushing touchdowns. Bradshaw with the rushing touchdowns. 35-0 Army on top. Head down to the Miami studios with the Jeremy St. Louis gang. As we welcome you back to Houston, Texas, inside Rice Stadium, the 35-0 Army. On top, Mike Gleason along with Donovan McNabb, the offensive player in the Big East in the decade in the 90s.
Oh, yeah. Made the all-century team.
And Michelle Gingras down on the sidelines. She'll be talking to, we'll hear from what the coach had to say. What kind of adjustments do you think David Bailiff will have to make in the second half? Do you come out and you open things up, or you just go back to basics and just try to put something on the board?
I think they're going to have to open the game up. Everything we've seen early on in the beginning of the game, I think it was kind of held back mainly because of their freshman quarterback that was making his first start. Now you have your backup quarterback in who has a little bit of experience. He played last week against Pittsburgh, but they got to throw the ball past 15 yards. I mean, you have to soften up the secondary to continue to run the ball, and play action opens up because of that. But you have to attack the secondary, and defensively, I need to see more blitzing. You know, you just can't sit back in a 3-4 defense or you know, just trying to have guys on the edges to try to stop the run. You need to blitz and try to force some turnovers.
Let's check in with Michelle.
Thanks, guys. I talked to Coach Bailiff. He said, you know, my guys, I told them they can't panic. They just need to play. They need to play for pride. Army did just that in the first half. He wants to see his guys do it in the second. He also said something that he said the guys need to man up. He said he was on the sidelines, didn't hear any yelling in the first half. He wants to see that difference, change in that in the second half.
All right, Michelle. Artis Hobbs and Jordan Asbury are the deep men for Army. Up 35-0. They get the football. Remember, Rice won the toss, but they took the football first. And here's the kick, and Black Knights will start at the 25-yard line.
I think it's something that's important, what Michelle just brought up. Yeah, you have to man up. This is the time, because I talked about it early in the first quarter. You know, you got to play for some pride. If I'm lined up in front of a guy, look, I'm going to dominate him. And then once you dominate your guy, then everyone else starts to understand that you dominate your guy in front of you. Then it's a trickle-down effect. But if you're going to just kind of turn the ball over and then walk off on the sideline, no one says anything on the sideline, no one's getting fired up. That attitude is contagious, which everyone feels like they're okay now.
Ask you a question about the passing game right after this first play from scrimmage. Keep it on the ground. Brent Davis, the offensive coordinator, said we don't have to pass more, but we have to be more effective. Bradshaw came into the ball game at 28%. We know they're not a passing team, but do you work on your passing game with a 35-0 lead?
No. I think, you know, you still stay in the framework of the offense and the game plan, but you add more passes in there. You know, for example, for first down, I think it's important you come out and allow them to throw the football, get into some type of rhythm. If you look at the secondary from Rice, their corners are sitting back at 8 yards. You know, they're sitting back where the safeties are. I mean, yeah, throw a hitch, a quick hitch, being 3 steps, guy runs 6 yards and stop. You know, just something to get your quarterback going. Because if you're going to just sit here and just run electronic football, rock 'em, sock 'em, you know, your quarterbacks will get banged up. Your running backs continue to get banged up. And for offensive line, it's a kind of a weight off of their shoulders as well. Get a little pass blocking mode.
Bradshaw with that carry in the first half. Bradshaw had 7 carries, averaged about 10 yards a carry. Walker with 7 for 118 yards. See the trending in this ball game. Walker with 3 touchdowns, his first 3 touchdowns of the year.
I'll get him in bunches, huh?
So Walker in motion. There's the pitch. Trying to bounce it outside, cuts it back, and he's wrestled down at about the 33-yard line. Abercrombie comes up to make the stop from his nose tackle position. It's a good hustler.
I think they'll decide to punt the ball for the 3rd time today. Yeah, but I would like to see them, because going forward, you're going to have to throw the football at some point. You know, they've had some tough battles in the last couple of weeks versus teams who they could run the football and eat up some clock, but your quarterback's going to have to throw the football, and completing 28% or 30% is not going to be effective.
Schrag with the punt. He averaged 49 in the first half. This is Trammell at the 15. Trammell makes a nice move over the 30, 35, 40. And driven out of bounds just shy of the 50.
Tackled by the kicker.
So Austin Trammell, the true freshman from Spring, Texas, with a nice return for Rice. And they get the football for the first time in the second half. We'll see what they can do.
When one thing for all returners that they don't want is you don't want to be tackled by the kicker. Try to find a way to avoid the kicker because he's the last line of defense, which could have led for bigger yards. But great return there from Rice. Let's see how the offense takes advantage of this opportunity.
Was he tackled or driven out of bounds?
He was kind of driven out of bounds. So I'll give credit to the kicker on that one.
Okay. Jackson Tyner at quarterback. Walter in motion. Nice run on the first play.
Number 7.
Yep, that's Jordan Myers again had a good first half. Jordan Myers averaged a little over 5 yards a carry, 11 carries, 59. Net of 58 in the first half, and he picks up 8 on that play. 2nd and 2 at the 41.
Funny, coming into this game, he only had 6 carries for 44 yards. He looks like the #1 running back for him.
Yeah, he's had a good game.
Yeah.
Interesting too from his H-back. A lot of his carries have been like on sweeps.
Yeah.
He's lining up in the backfield now. So,
which I've had a problem with the way that the course of college football is changing now. Everything is sideline to sideline. All these little the jet sweeps that we've seen Seattle do with Percy Harvin when they were in the Super Bowl versus the Denver Broncos. Now all of a sudden all teams are utilizing that. Instead of just going north and south, let's hand the ball off like you see in Navy do. Turn around, hand it off, let the running back go north and south. That's when you see what type of running back that you have.
Tyner looking for Granson. Granson turned and the ball was behind him. So Tyner, the sophomore out of Edgewood, Texas, certainly hasn't found his groove as far as throwing the football.
To say the least. I mean, I was lost there where he was throwing the football. But again, he's not that different from the freshman that stepped in the beginning of the season, and beginning of the game in Smalls. Get your quarterback into a rhythm. Let him throw a 3-step out. Let him throw a 3-step hitch. Something to get a completion instead of now run, and just now it's time to throw the football.
There's the throw.
Good. There
Donovan,
we go.
He hasn't been accurate, but it looks like he has a nice arm. He certainly has great size.
He does have a nice arm. I'm watching him as, he's delivering passes. His base, his foundation is a little off. His footwork isn't as great as it should be, especially with an arm like he has. And at times he'll throw sidearm. Nothing's consistent. If it's over the top, if it's sidearm, what type of quarterback are you? You look at guys like Matthew Stafford and some of these NFL guys who can adjust their arm and depending on the rush. College quarterbacks just stay basic and go over the top.
3rd and 1 at the 25. A little hesitation there.
Yeah, don't look like he got it on that.
It's going to be close.
Didn't hit the line very hard. It looked like he was waiting for a hole to open, which it never did. This is the deepest drive of the ball game for Rice so far. It's 4th and
25.
less than a yard.
4th and inches.
It's like 4th and about 6 inches, actually.
I would call for a quarterback sneak when you have a quarterback that size. You got to utilize it.
6'5", 245. What was your weight in the NFL?
The heaviest I got was 242, 245. You're talking about a college quarterback at 245. No.
Asupa. The ground can't cause the fumble, but the ball comes loose again for the Rice Owls. But Asupa picks up the first down. They move the chains and keep the drive alive. This is their first possession of the second half, and they've looked impressive so far.
Have to give a lot of credit. They great cut. Great
Asupa.
cut.
5. Asupa for the touchdown. Emmanuel Asupa, that's his first touchdown this year.
That's just being a good football player. Being able to put that foot down and cut back. I would have loved to see that in the first half. There was another opportunity there where he just allowed himself to run more out of bounds. That was a great job of just putting that foot down and getting low and running through tackles.
Hayden Tabola, the junior from West Texas, on for the extra point. That touchdown run by Asupa went for 22. and it's blocked. Boy, Michelle, talking with Jeff Monken, which used the term when it rains, it pours. Back in Houston, Texas, 35-6. Rice impressive on that last drive, but they missed the extra point. But they're on the board. And every time we take a look at the downtown Houston, Texas, see the scoring drive there, 49 yards. Keep going back to Harvey. And how this affected this football team and all the people that lost so much. You see it on the news, but I can't imagine losing so much.
You know, it's funny talking to Coach yesterday. The things that he talked about was how devastating it was for the program, the loss for the kids. I mean, you talk about clothes, cars, insurance went up. You know, rent goes up.
Yeah.
You know, it was hard to move on from it from these kids because, you know, some of these kids, as college kids, got to stand in line for FEMA. I mean, think of just the schoolwork that they have to be dedicated to football practice, and then try to stand in line to get some help. So give a lot of credit to the coaches who added to that.
Well, one thing about this game, both kickers have done a good job finding the back of the end zone as they'll start from the 25-yard line. And, yeah, getting back to the Harvey one more time, Trey Martin, their starting center, David Bailiff said he's never had a bad game as far as grading out. He said after his car was told, he was told his car was okay, and then the electrical system was shot. He lost his car, and he
that's a bad
had a bad game, his first bad game. Michelle, what do you got?
Add to that, actually, Coach Bailiff also told us that Trey Martin lost everything. His home, he was on a couch for a while. He only had the clothes that he took with him to Australia for about a month. But guys, prior to the game today, I was talking to Army's SID, and they actually said that they've donated a bunch of their old clothes to staff members here, all like whatever they could find, clothes, food, anything, just to try to help the relief efforts. So it's coming from everywhere. People are trying to help.
That's cool, Michelle. And even the University of Pittsburgh gave him a check last week.
Yeah. Nice. Not even in the conference to be able to give and aid, and some of the other coaches that we've covered throughout the season thus far have donated, which has been, you know, really promising for everyone in this conference that have been affected by Harvey.
Well, Bradshaw had another big gainer. This time they give it to the fullback up to the 45-yard line. So back-to-back good plays there. That's Kalen Holtz, the junior out of Hawaii. He's probably the fastest of the fullbacks, they say. I mean, Davidson goes 235, Holtz 230, Slumka 240.
Let's just say they have some size in the backfield.
Davidson, a former linebacker, turned fullback, and Holt actually was a safety at one time, then a linebacker, now a fullback. Walker in motion, but Bradshaw keeps it inside Rice territory down to the 49-yard line.
On the keeper for Army, gets across midfield.
So Bradshaw working on his third 100-yard game this year. Opened up with back-to-back 100-yard games. Saw the graphic of the first half. I almost fell out of my chair. 324, I think it was, against Fordham.
He's their leading rusher. You know, their leading rusher for this football team, and rightfully so. I mean, some of the freeze options that they run, where, you know, the run-pass options in their instance, I mean, it's a little different than most, but, you know, here, perfect example is a little speed option. Be able to get out on the corner, get on the edge, pick up yards. So this is what I'm talking about. Okay, you're up 35-6. You're running your quarterback. He's getting banged around. Allow him to throw the football. You know, just take some pressure off him. Let him throw the football. Every
time he runs this play, though, it's wide open. Obviously, they're covering the pitch man, but he's got a lane that I think I might be able to run through. And that's a might. I didn't say I could.
Yeah, but I mean, it's the hits. They add up.
Yeah, they do.
You know, they add up. He's the leading rusher on the football team, and that's not because every play is a 40, 50-yard gain. He's battling. I mean, 11 carries already as your quarterback.
There's the pitch to the outside. It's Walker again, and he's driven down at the 32-yard line. Coming up from behind to make the tackle is Martin Wakama, the junior.
He's done a good job of being the pitch key. I talked about him earlier in the game of just not allowing the pitch to get on the outside, on the edge, and allow Walker to go. There was just a trust between Bradshaw and Walker of just pitching it and allowing Walker to try to beat him on the edge. But great job there of being able to seal the edge and make the tackle.
And speaking of 100-yard games, Andy Davidson was actually coming off a back-to-back 100-yard games. But tonight has belonged to Bradshaw and Walker. There's a good hit at the line of scrimmage, just over the line of scrimmage. See Womack, Brian Womack, the senior out of Houston. Had 9 tackles for loss coming in. That was #1 in the conference. 5 sacks, also #1. Pro scouts really like this young man.
You know, you love high energy guys. Most high energy guys that you see at workout warriors, they go to the combine, they put up great numbers, you put them on film and you can't find them. You know, Womack's a guy that he flies around, you know, he throws his body into the piles. He's there to make plays.
Davidson gets the call. It's the left side. That will be in on the tackle.
Looks like that might be a first down there.
Along with Wakama again.
Davidson on the carry.
So Davidson averaged about 4 carries the first 3 games, and then averaged 20 the last 2.
4th down here.
Darnell Woolfolk's injured. There's another running back. Will be added to this Army arsenal before the season's over. 4th and 1. Bradshaw on the quarterback sneak. Forward progress should give him the first down. As they clear the pile, the clock stops with 5:36 to go here in the quarter number 3.
I love the scrums. I mean, the pushing the quarterback to get the extra yards. Little jabs going on in the pile. The whining by the defense. Love that part.
Donovan, I thought it was interesting when we talked with Jeff Monken earlier this week. He said, you know, they're averaging 364 rushing yards, which is 3rd best in the country. He said, but fundamentally, they're not sustaining their blocks the way they're expected to. They're expected to put their man on the ground every play. Here's the pitch outside. And down near the 10-yard line. That time it's Jordan Asbury, junior out of Cincinnati. And it's going to be goal to goal. 1st and goal for the Black Knights.
Here with the no huddle. Lining up and going.
Boy, talk about taking your hits.
I'm telling you.
Fullbacks take the hits.
You can hear it. And he was a former linebacker, so now he goes from defense to offense. Instead of giving the blows, he's receiving it.
Carried it 26 times for 130 against Tulane, and then 14 for exactly 100. That victory over UTEP, which included a rushing touchdown for the fullback. Bradshaw wants his 2nd. He's got it. So Walker with 3, Bradshaw now with 2 rushing touchdowns, 6 on the year.
Defense from Rice looks defeated. I mean, someone's got to say something. Again, it's about pride. It's about pride at this point.
Now, it's interesting too you bring that up, because early in the ball game looked like they were defending the run pretty well. And of course, those turnovers, they might have been a little deflated, but,
yeah.
But nonetheless, Blake Wilson's on for yet another extra point. So Rice looked impressive on their first drive, but Army just as impressive as they come right back and answer. 4:18 to go, quarter number 3. It's now 42-6, Black Knights.
You're watching college football on BN Sports. Due to time restraints, we now move ahead in the action.
Back in Houston, 42-6. Army has the ball, 1st and goal at the 7-yard line. Take a look at the Conference USA Players of the Week. Devin Singletary of FAU, nice game, 133, 4 touchdowns. Cedric Cooper, Louisiana Tech, a couple of picks last week. Langdon trying to get into the end zone. Be his first rushing touchdown in 2017. Stopped inside the 5-yard line. 13th play of the drive coming up right here for Army. They've had 2 drives over 10 now, Donovan. 11 in this one. No drives of 10 by either team in the first half. This Army team, you go back and look at their resume, though. In the second half, they've outscored the opposition 72-35 in the second half this year. And that was before this ball game, of course. So they get stronger as the game goes on. But let's face it, I mean, Army probably the better football team here tonight, but when you got capitalizing on 4 turnovers, 5 now.
Yeah.
With that pick 6 and 4 fumbles.
You're not going to win very many football games like that. You know, coaches talked about it. You know, turnovers, you lose a turnover battle, you have a low percentage of winning the game. You know, and even one mistake is not as bad, even a pick 6, but when you start talking 2, 3, maybe 4, you put your team in a bad situation no matter how good your defense is playing.
Slumka, but it's Langdon. Langdon breaks the plane, and there's a touchdown. Luke Langdon, the junior from Irvine, California, picks up his first rushing touchdown, playing in the backup role of Bradshaw.
Langdon with the keeper scores from 1 yard out. Touchdown, Army West Point.
It's been kind of one-sided. I mean, everything that we've seen from Army of running the football and the problems that you have, you know, if you can't stop it. We talked about it early in the game. If you're not in your running lanes and you're not fundamentally sound, and being able to know your keys and read your keys, things like this can happen to you.
So Langdon caps off a 15-play drive covering 52 yards, 7 minutes and 43 seconds. Military Appreciation Day here, and Army doing the push-ups after every score, and they're saying, hey, Coach Monken, back off. We're doing way too many push-ups. On the top 25. How about the Miami game, huh?
I'm sure everybody in the studio is real excited about that game. Syracuse is coming into town in Miami in a couple weeks, so that'll be an upset for us beating Miami.
Michigan down to Michigan State 2 years after Michigan State scored on the last play when the Wolverines bobbled that fumble, or they bobbled the punt snap.
Mm-hmm.
All they had to do was land on the football. Michigan wins that game.
Yeah.
I didn't. That score surprises me right now. What was it? 14-3 Michigan State.
14-3 Michigan State, and also LSU, and Coach Ed Orgeron was able to come back on Florida to beat them 17-16.
Trammell, he's had a couple of nice returns.
Watch out for the kicker.
Yeah. Penalty flag dropped at the 14. So Trammell, a true freshman, showing some talents in the return game, no doubt about that.
I like this young man, Trammell. I know he's a true freshman, but I like him.
Holding, return team number 25. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
So Rice guilty of that infraction. Will Harrison. Or check that, it's probably Nashawn Ellerby. Harrison, a kicker. So Ellerby, the starting running back, is guilty of that infraction on the kick return team. So they'll start from the 8-yard line, trailing 49-6. Explosive plays was the operative
term
coming into the ball game, and they thought, you know, Tulane scored on a 75-yard run on the first play from scrimmage against this Army team, and then they scored on a 72-yard play. But Rice has had a nice drive to open up the second half, but they really haven't had any real big explosive plays. They've had a couple of long runs.
You know, I'd like to see Rice open up this offense enough where they can complete some 12 to 15-yard passes downfield and allow their guys to turn upfield and run. I mean, I know that they don't have the weapons on the outside to create separation with speed. But see, there we go. That's what I'm talking about. Give them a chance.
Nice pitch and catch that time. Lance Wright gets his third catch, his first of the evening.
Nice curl route, you know, good combination of flat curl. Just let them get the ball out of their hands, push it downfield. That's what I would like to see. Let's see more of that.
Wright, the junior from Fairbanks, Alaska, 2 catches last week against Pittsburgh, his first 2 of the year.
Got the post.
Tyner going deep, and And, oh, he had his man open.
And that's what I'm saying. If it's one-on-one coverage, and he's clearly shoulder to shoulder with the guy, that means he's open. Throw him open. Throw it to a spot to allow your receiver to go get it. Now, he waited too long to get outside the pocket, now the receiver has to run from all the way on top of the numbers all the way to the other side of the numbers for the ball. That's going to wear any receiver out, but give him a chance. Just get the ball out there. Let him go get it.
Saw the body language from Austin Walter, frustrated too, because thought he had 6. Tackle made that time. Jake Ellington for Army. So now Jay Bateman starting to go to his bench a little more with the backups on the defensive side of the ball.
You know, one question I've always had, and I remember early on I had the answer later. For schools like Army, Navy, at one point Notre Dame, do they have any red shirts?
Army, yeah, they've got a few red shirts. This one's complete. Cephas gets it just shy of the 50-yard line.
You just don't ever really hear about red shirt, freshmen, red shirt, sophomores in Army, Navy.
You know, now that you say that, I'm looking at my board. I don't see any red shirts whatsoever, so maybe they don't. That's a good points. I know each class is...
Have Will Rice. Got the running back wide open.
Tyner had a 70-yard touchdown last week, and this one is good for the score. Cephas, the redshirt freshman out of Houston. Now, speaking of redshirts, that's his second touchdown of the season. And the second scoring strike by Tyner, both of them long bombs.
I mean, the one thing we've seen from this young man is that he has a strong arm. You know, we see that. You know, but you really didn't have to do that. The play was designed on a wheel route to hit the running back or the post, and the running back was wide open.
And it's funny, too. Jay Bateman was saying that the quarterbacks aren't that accurate for Rice, but they're athletic. We've got to keep them in the pocket. You've seen Tyner, most of his completions, he's leaving the pocket, getting outside the pocket.
Yeah. That's just right. That's just lack of confidence in the pocket of either knowing that you have a clean pocket, that you can get the ball out with timing, and you can keep your eyes downfield with your progressive without any defenders around your feet.
So that one goes 58 yards, 6 plays, 92. They're going to go for 2 here. Nothing else, just to polish up their act a little bit. 49-14 if they make it.
Make it look reasonable. Coach Nevitt, I figured that.
Trammell stops, throws. Oh, he had his man Cephas. And James Nautical, the junior linebacker, the Mike linebacker, getting over there, might have got his hand on it in the end zone. 58-yard strike. We've got a 49-12 game, 7:55 left in the game.
You're watching college football on beIN Sports. Due to time restraints, we now move ahead in the action.
You see Rice after UTSA. It's back home against Louisiana Tech. They're going to travel to Birmingham.
Doesn't get any easier. Okay, it doesn't get any easier for them. So I'd like to see them bounce back and put themselves in better position going forward.
And the question is, Miklo Smalls, will he take the reins again? I mean, I thought you brought up a great point. They burned his red shirt, then he got yanked in the first quarter. Jackson Tyner gets over the midfield stripe into Army territory before he's driven out of bounds. Army will head back to West Point. They take on Eastern Michigan next week as they try to go to 5-2. If they get there, it'll be the first time they started 5-2 since 88-89.
As my kids say at the house, back in the day.
Tyner. This one's incomplete, looking for Robbie Wells. Robbie Wells, the senior from Katy, had a couple of catches in that first half. Mentioned earlier in the broadcast, Army splitting with North Texas last year, losing the first game during the regular season, coming back and beating North Texas. They lost 35-18, came back and beat the Mean Green in the bowl game down in Dallas 38-31. BN Sports will have that Army North Texas game and the rematch November 18th. Nice. Inside the 30, they fumble the football. Cephas caught the ball, got hit and dropped it.
We would love to say that was great defensive play by Army, but you just have to hold on to the football. I mean, that was a great play by quarterback to receiver catching the football. You just have to hold on to it.
That was Javari Bordeaux, the freshman from Miramar, Florida, making the hit in the strip. I lost count, partner. What is that? 6 turnovers now, 5 fumbles and a pick 6.
I know you're not great with numbers, but it sounds like you're right on point.
Boy, running hard that time is 36, Andy McCoy.
Going through the list now. You got your pads? Did you bring your pads?
Well,
we might be able to get in too. I'm definitely not running the option. We're going to have to open up and throw it a little bit.
I'd have to, because I was terrible at reading defensive ends. The first 5 games, there's 3 turnovers, a 6 tonight. So Jay Bateman has to be pleased. McCoy gets the call again, gets to the 40. Bring up a 3rd and maybe a yard and a half. Inside 4 minutes now before they close the books on this one. So Army, as far as the we mentioned them beating Navy last year, as far as taking a run at the Commander-in-Chief trophy, they'll be at Air Force November 4th, and of course they'll take on Navy again in Philadelphia December 9th this year. There's Jeff Monken in just his 4th year, and getting this Army machine rolling. There's someone's helmet. I thought it was a fumble, but
helmet's flying off, I tell you.
That's Peyton Reeder, true freshman out of Rome, Georgia, losing his helmet, so he'll have to leave the field for a play.
It's funny, he gets hurt. Obviously, the number ones are out. He gets hurt. Just say the helmet comes off, and Bryce Holland, the starting center, hurry up and try to run in. Coach is like, get off.
A lot of jumping around.
Looks
like Army's going to get charged with it.
No, I think they're going to give it to the defense.
Oh, really? Jumped and didn't get back?
No, I didn't get back.
Looks like Army moved, though. Looks like they're going to.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to give it to Army.
False start. Offense, number 57. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Ethan Paulale, junior from Las Vegas.
I mean,
there's no doubt Rice jumped, but I think they got back.
I was about to say,
Paulale just took off.
That looked like Rice was jumped to me.
2.5 minutes to go. 1st and 15 at the 39. McCoy cuts it. McCoy's got some running room. McCoy over the 50. Dropped at the 48.
36, Sandon McCoy into Rice territory.
Great job here of just putting that foot down and get north and south, running through tackles. He was able to get out of 29's hold. That definitely would have been a first down. I'm just impressed by what I'm seeing from the running game of Army. And then they finally complete a pass with the 3rd-string quarterback. How about that?
Yeah, he put some zip on that ball, too.
He really did.
Houston Robert made that tackle for Rice. But Sandy McCoy says, hey, coach, I know we have a lot of runners, but keep an eye on me.
Absolutely, I'm here.
I expect at least 9 carries against Eastern Michigan next week. There he goes again, down to the 35-yard line.
Fullback dives. All on fullback dives.
So we've got Davidson, Holt, Slimka, and now maybe McCoy.
I was about to say, I mean, I think he's putting pressure on those fullbacks now.
That's 394 yards rushing in the ball game. So I mentioned 513 on the ground against Fordham in their opener.
That's not happening.
That's not happening, but they had 353 last week, and now pushing 400 here with a minute 8 to go.
Uh-oh.
There it is.
Uh-oh. Ooh, if he would have cut back to the left.
Inside the 15-yard line, Langdon pushes Army over the 400 mark.
Picks up the first down for Army West Point.
Take a look here. He's reading his pitch keys, getting outside. Great job of getting his shoulders upfield with a great move right there. Running through the tackles. This young man has some talent here.
Boy, some missed tackles though too, huh?
Oh yeah. Definitely, I'm sure that'll be something that coach will be talking about at practice all this week.
Well, Langdon and McCoy, they want to get it in. 40 seconds to go. Jeff Monken could probably care less.
Yeah, he's probably trying to slow him down.
Exactly. Inside 30 seconds, clock is running.
I think that's a wrap there, partner.
That's going to do it. Jeff Monken, 4-2 for the second straight year, as he gets this Army machine rolling now.
Score today, Army 49, Rice 12.
49-12. They head back to West Point to take on Eastern Michigan, and David Bailiff and the Rice Owls will go back to the drawing board. They have 2 weeks before they head down to San Antonio to take on UTSA. Donovan, your final thoughts on this game?
You know, for the visiting team, Army coming in, I was impressed by the running game, continuing to stay downfield and just do a great job of running the football, pass the ball when they needed to. It wasn't as effective as we expected, but they still did what they needed to do running the football. Defensively, did a great job creating turnovers, which allowed their offense to have great field position and take advantage of it. As far as Rice is concerned, this is one you just got to put behind you and think about the negatives, get them cleaned up during the week, get it erased, put it behind you, and move forward. Because games like this, you don't want to harp on them too much, because then they'll continue to affect you during the week. So I love what I'm seeing from Army. Rice just really has to refocus and come back out next week and change things.
Well, Jay Bateman, the defensive coordinator, wanted turnovers. He gets 6 tonight. And that's going to do it here from Houston, Texas. For Donovan McNabb, Michelle Gingras, Mike Gleason saying so long from Houston. Final score once again, Army rolls over the Owls of Rice 49-12. Join us next week from Birmingham, Alabama, when UAB welcomes Middle Tennessee starting at 6 o'clock Eastern time. Stay tuned. After the break, Jeremy St. Louis and the gang wraps up the day of college football. Over 400 yards of rushing for the Black Knights of Army. They win it 49-12. So long, everybody, from Houston, Texas. Have a great weekend.